Hello. I'm trying to figure out a setup. I don't have a camera set up. All I have is an iPad that I can tilt on stuff. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out how to show you my placemat loom and how I go about getting it ready for weaving. So here's my placemat loom. Now, I haven't really strung it up. First of all, the first thing that I do is take my strips of fabric. These are old sheets, and I sew them. Sew the strips together like that. The original instruction book that I had you just knotting them together. However, what I found was that because you get so much friction bringing the strips through these going up and down strips, I would have some tearing of the strips. These are 1 inch wide. So what I do first is, after I've sewn those strips together, and I sew enough so that I do a test to make sure I have enough for the length of to go up and down what I need it to. Then I make a loop with just a regular knot for this end up here on the right hand side, what might look like the left to you, and then I just string it on these like nails, which don't have heads on them, so that when this is done, I can easily slip this off of these nails to get it off the loom. My husband made this loom for me from the plans that were in the book, and I will include the information on the book in the description. It was an old book that a friend of mine had given to me, because she was making these looms, these rugs, and her husband had made her a loom. And she also had a placemat sized, and she had a throw rug sized, which is 2 by 3. And I also have the 2 different sizes. Her husband made hers, my husband made mine. Okay, so I'm coming to the end here of this. So what I have to do now is flip this over like this, so that, and these rods are coming out because they're not being used right now, but I'm flipping it so I can get up here easier to make this knot. And you want to make sure you leave a loop. You need to have a loop in here because you're going to be using that loop for your fabric to go through for the beginning and the end. So making sure that this stays kind of tight on your nail. And there we go. I'll put my finger in here to keep the loop in there. All right, so now I'm cutting off. I will cut off this end here. Get this back up here. And I'm going to flip this back over. And these are on the sides. They keep your sides from bowing in when you're weaving, because you're going around them. Okay. So there we go. Now, to start this, I take a strip. However long it is. This was the width of the fitted sheet that I cut. I make it so it's not even, all right? And I am putting that through the loop that I made up on the top, okay? And around this part of the metal rod, it's going behind that and through the loop. And I'm going to now weave this in and out. So this end goes through the hole so that it makes it woven. Pull that out. And this one then goes over and under. So you're just going over and under for the rest of this. And you want to do this a couple of rows on the top, and then immediately go and do a couple of rows on the bottom, because that will hold these all onto your loom, and then you go about making the rest of it. You can either join when you get to where you need another strip, you can either join it by cutting a slit and making a knot in it, by pulling one through that hole, or you can sew it together. I do the knot. So mine will, my things will have a little bit of a lump where the knots are made, but that's part of, you know, being the rag rug culture. So anyway, that's how this is looking. So I will be continuing with this for an hour today to get my hour in for this week on my placemat rug. But I wanted, and then when I give you my update for what I got done this week, I'll show you, probably it'll show you the top, the couple of rows on the top and the bottom, because it did take some of my hour to sew these strips together on the sewing machine. But anyway, I wanted to let you just see how I go about starting one of these placemats. And it's the same technique for doing the rug also. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I like using up old sheets and things that would be used for rags. I can salvage some of that, and then these make pretty nice thick placemats and rugs. For a rug, I use 1 inch for this one, but then for the other part, I use 2-inch strips, and it makes it thicker. For a placemat, 2 inches is just too thick, so I use 1 inch for both areas of the placemat rug. So I will give you the information. I believe it's still out there. You can still buy it somewhere. I'll give you the information that's on the pamphlet that I have for that, and you can I will show you what I have. It's Rugs from Rags, and it's by Country Threads. So I will give you that information, and there's my placemat rug. I hope you enjoyed, or placemat, I guess loom. But anyway, I like to be able to use up some stuff that would normally get maybe thrown in, you know, the garbage or whatever, and it's useful for me here. I use them to feed my cats off of. I use them as mats on our kitchen counters. I use them as placemats. They're very good for, if they're 100% cotton, they're really thick, so they make great hot pads. Many uses. It's all up to your imagination. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.